Get everybody, eliminate the distractions, and go ghost because you don't really realize it, but those people aren't your friends. If they're not on the same path as you, if they're not doing the things that you're doing, if they're not putting in the work that you're putting in, if they're calling you up saying, yo, man, come on, let's get on some girls. Yo, 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 come on, man, come on, girl, let's go out to the club. Whatever it is, they ain't there for you, bro. You got in your mind such a greater purpose. You got in your mind such greater things. You got in your mind that the things that you're gonna achieve, the person that you're gonna be, you see the person that you're gonna be, and they're just trying to dim your light. You don't even understand, man. The best thing you could do right now is be alone. The lonely chapter is scary. It's scary when you have to go into yourself. It's scary when you got to dig deep and sit through those lonely nights, sit through those lonely nights on the computer, sit through those lonely nights where you're working out and nobody's around, nobody's up, waking up in the morning, middle of the night, saying, man, I just got to get my life together, bro. I know those midnight crisis where you're just saying, bro, I need to get this together, man. I need to change my life because this is not it. This is not a life that I want to live. I know exactly how that feels. And you're sitting around your friends, you're sitting around these people, and you're already noticing in your mind like they're doing terrible habits. They're not being people I want to be. I gotta go ghost. I gotta go ghost. I gotta say forget them. You could tell the people that are doing something in this life. You could tell the people that are changing in this life. I got a little story for you guys because I really went ghost for a year and a half, 2 years on the people that I grew up with, the people that I grew close with, and I had to, bro. I had to, bro. It was the craziest and the most annoying thing to do, but I knew that they were not for me, bro. And even when I came out of being ghosted and came and tried to link up with them again, I still realized, bro, once your eyes open, you can never close them. I realized, bro, I'm like, why am I hanging around you, bro? What do you bring to my life? Like you bring nothing to me, bro. You bring only things that they mention is women, sin, and girl, and like sex, money, and drugs. And I'm just like, bro, what are you doing? Like, what are you doing? Like, what are you going to? And uh, at a point, I'm 4 years sober, 3.5 years, 4 years sober, and to go through this process again to the place that I was at and the place that I was at before I was sober is I was in real addiction. I was doing the same things as my friends were doing, but obviously I was built different. Obviously I had addicted personality, and that's something that they can't really understand because maybe they have, maybe they don't. But the hell that I was going through, they could not relate to, bro. They could not understand why I couldn't drink or smoke just like them. They couldn't understand why I was getting obliterated drunk in the club. It's like they can't understand because they're not you simply, but um when I made the decision and I got to my bottom and I wanted to change my life, and I was like, bro, I cannot do this anymore. I changed it and I stopped picking up the phone, bro. And when I stopped picking up the phone, when I stopped answering their calls, bro, everything changed, bro. Because I started to realize their true. I'm not gonna say they had bad intentions. I'm not gonna say they have bad intentions, bro. But um, people don't like being alone. Misery loves company. That is a funny thing. Misery loves company. It's not that they love you. It's not that they care about you. It's that they don't want to be alone with themselves. And when I sat alone with myself, when I sat alone and I dug into who I was, when I dug into the things that I'm facing, the person that I want to be, I found out a whole new world. I found out a whole new life. And when I saw that life, I was like, man, this is a life past my wildest dreams. And I didn't even know I could live this because I stuck around the same people. I heard the same narratives. I heard their dreams, and their dreams that made mine seem like they were too big. And it's crazy to think, but man, going coast is the best thing you could do. because not everybody's for you, bro. The journey that you're on, the chosen person that you are, isn't them. God didn't choose them. They did choose. You know, many are called, few are chosen. You were chosen. You know, they don't realize they're chosen. You know you're chosen. You know exactly what you're supposed to do in this life. You know exactly that God made you special, bro, and you realize it. That's why you don't feel comfortable in the party. That's why you still feel lonely in the party. That's why you still feel lonely in the group of people that you're around. You know, it's a crazy feeling, but you are set apart. You're not the same as them. You know, and you've done so much damage to yourself trying to be the same as everybody else, trying to fit in the crowd, trying to do this, trying to do that, not accepting, maybe I'm a weirdo, bro. Maybe I'm nothing like him. Maybe I'm nothing like him, and maybe I got a different path. And you're right. You know, you're completely and utterly right. And you can't dim your light for anybody else because you were set apart. You're here for a reason. You're here for a reason bigger than yourself. You're here for a reason bigger than you can even imagine. And I feel as though I could never realize this around those people because they're limited people put in this life, put in your life to continue to hold you back. And when you let them go, you're gonna be go. You're gonna go. You're gonna go and do the things that you're supposed to do. You're gonna sit in your mind and realize, man, I'm more than I could do this. I could do that. I'm more than I ever could imagine to be. You know, something that I realized is that in your absence, people start to value you more. You know, they value you 10 times more because they're like, man, I can't even get in touch with him. I call him, he don't even answer. What is he up to, man? I don't understand. You know, but they know that you're doing something. You're not bullshitting with them. Cause as much as I thought I was a great person or whatever it is, when I was doing drugs, when I was doing these bad things, and I'd hang around certain people, I'd be like, you ain't on shit, cause I ain't on shit. You know, exactly that. You know, and um, it has to get dark before it gets sunny, bro. The sun's always out. No matter if it's cloudy outside, no matter whatever, the sun's gonna rise in the morning, bro. The sun's always up. You know, the sun's here. You just can't always see it, right? So you might go through a time period where things are dark. It don't feel good, bro. It doesn't feel like you're moving anywhere. It feels like this loneliness is killing you. And you'll want to revert back. You want to go back into bad habits. You'll want to do all these things. But wait for the miracle. You know, I waited for the miracle, bro. I waited. And then next thing you know, beautiful things started to appear in my life. Beautiful people started to appear in my life. The right people started to appear in my life. My life started to change for the better, you know, and when you really do that inner work, you find a love that you could never find, bro. You find love in yourself. You find the vision you have for your life, the person you truly wanted to be, the God that's always been with you that you never really had to rely on because you never put yourself in a position to rely on it. You never stepped out in uncomfort to have to rely on him or her or whatever your God is, you know, and you have to remember, bro, you're the one, bro. You're the one. You're the one. You're nothing like them, bro. You're chosen for something special, for something out of this world, man. And you gotta go find yourself to get that thing, to become that person that you're destined to be. And nobody's gonna see it but you. And I've learned to keep my dreams close, bro. Not tell everybody, bro, because not everybody's gonna see it the way that you see it. Not everybody's gonna motivate you to be that person because the beginning's the hardest. doing something that you see is you're the only person that sees it, bro. You're delusional. And it's okay to be delusional. It's okay to be crazy, but the closest people to you, you might need to let go for a little bit of time. You might need to love them from a distance. You might need to pray for them because they're not supposed to be in your life right now. You're locked in. You got things you got to do. Your time is precious, bro. It's not to be wasted. It's not to be played with. It's not to, none of it. You know, and when you realize your worth, you walk in this light in this life with a different aura to you, because you know you're worth more than just the cheap things of this world. You know, the cheap things, the clubs, the bottles, the cheap girls, the cheap men. You know, you're worth more. You're worth more. You know how you're supposed to be treated, bro. You know that people need to treat you with some respect. You know that you love yourself, bro. You don't need these people for nothing. You don't need people. You don't. You need the right people, but you don't need a lot of these people. And the fact that you feel weird, the fact that you feel out of place is a good thing, because you're moving towards something that is destined for you. And the best thing I could do was sit in that uncomfort. And when you have that uncomfort, you gotta lean in close, because that's what's gonna make you. That's what's gonna make you who you wanna be. That's what's gonna get you to gold. That's what's gonna move you into the future. That's what's gonna show you the life that's past your wildest dreams, because there's nothing in this life that doesn't come with a cost, bro. And you gotta pay the cost for the things that you want. You gotta go and pay what it costs, bro. And it costs you sometimes giving up that friend, sometimes giving up that girlfriend, and sometimes giving up this world, bro. And sacrificing, because it feels like it's worth it, but it's giving you a negative balance in your account, no matter what your balance look like. You know, the greatest thing I ever did was accept the fact that I was weird, accept the fact that I was different, accept the fact that, man, nobody's like me, bro, and that I'm chosen and that I'm different, and believing that I'm chosen, believing that I'm different, and loving myself, bro, because one thing I found was that the world could never love me enough to make me who I am. And I had to spend that time alone. I had to spend that time with God to see, you know, I'm who I think I am. And I'm nobody else. And I don't want to be anybody else. And I don't want to be like the people I was around. You know? It's okay. Go Ghost. It's time to lock in on your dreams, man. And start this journey of self-improvement, self-growth, self-love, because nobody's gonna do it for you, bro. Nobody's gonna come to save you. Nobody. Nobody. Nobody, bro. You're chosen, bro. Go be chosen. Go live what you're chosen to live, bro.